If any of you guys are new members with Navy Federal Credit Union and you're not really sure what this bank is or what all the hype is about, then don't worry because I got you. I have been banking with Navy Federal for over a few years now, and I made quite a few videos teaching what I know and what I've learned over the past couple of years. So if you guys want to know the tips, tricks, and hacks, then I will briefly be going over some of them in this video. I know a lot of you guys are probably here because maybe you heard about the high limit credit cards, or maybe you heard how easy it was to get approved for an auto loan with Navy Federal. And yes, the rumors that you heard are true, so make sure you watch this video all the way to the end so that way you can fully know what you're getting yourself into. If you're already subscribed, then welcome back. But if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Ismael Sandiford, and you are now watching Just Money, where we talk about financial related topics such as personal and business credit, real estate, and other financial related topics. So if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so if you're new to Navy Federal and you're coming from a bank like Chase or Wells Fargo or something of that nature, then there's a few things that you need to know. Credit unions typically work differently than banks do. Credit unions tend to be relationship based, while banks, on the other hand, are not. You can have bad credit with a credit union, but if you have a good enough relationship with them, then they can be really generous with the products that they offer. And a quick example of this could be like getting approved for a high limit credit card, or even getting approved for a high amount when you're applying for an auto loan or even a personal loan and things and such. Regular banks such as Wells Fargo or even Chase don't really care if you do have a relationship with them or not. They more so care about what type of income is this person bringing in and what in the world is this person's credit score. That's what they care about. Granted, credit unions do take that into account as well. But again, like I said earlier, if you have a good enough relationship with a credit union, then they might be able to pull some strings for you. But if you're a new member with Navy Federal, the number one thing that I always tell people to do first after you open up your checking account is to set a direct deposit up. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Oh, I already have a direct deposit set up with my other bank. Why would I do that?
You're doing it so that way you can build a better relationship with them. And not only that, but it's going to help you build high internal points as well, aka your Navy Federal credit score. And this Navy Federal credit score is going to range anywhere from 100 all the way up to 450 points. And you typically want to be above the 250 point range for best chances of approval. And these internal points are going to matter because if you apply for a credit card with Navy Federal and you don't have a high internal score, then that can lead you to getting denied for a credit card. And you don't want to get denied for a credit card because if Navy Federal gives you a credit card, then they're going to give you a credit card with a pretty nice limit on it. So you do not want to mess that up. I made this mistake in the past before because I used to have my direct deposit set up with Chase Bank. But once I realized that Chase is literally not even doing anything for me like how Navy Federal is, then I definitely had to make that change. I told myself, if Navy Federal is giving me this, that, and the third, while Chase isn't really doing anything for me, but I have a direct deposit set up with them, how does that make sense? Especially when you already know that credit unions are relationship based. So don't make the same mistake I did when I first joined. Set your direct deposit up immediately. And for whatever reason, if you guys cannot set up a direct deposit with Navy Federal, then I recommend to just make weekly or even monthly deposits into your checking or Navy Federal savings account. Because by doing this, you're showing Navy Federal that you have money coming in. And if they see money coming in, then they're definitely going to take that into account whenever you decide to apply for something. So set that direct deposit up and make those weekly or monthly deposits. But another thing you're going to want to know as a new member with Navy Federal is make sure to actually use your account. Use your checking account to pay bills or even make purchases. Because by doing this, you're showing Navy Federal that they are your primary bank that you use. And if Navy Federal is your primary bank, then this now means that you are building a stronger relationship with them. And again, you want to build a relationship with them so that way you have access to all of their products and you get the best rates and highest limits as possible. But moving on, if you're a new member that's seeking to build credit using Navy Federal, then I'm going to recommend you to do two things. The first thing I recommend doing is getting the Navy Federal and Rewards secured credit card. This is a secure credit card that Navy Federal offers that is perfect for people who are trying to build or rebuild their credit. And really quick, for those that do not know what a secure credit card is, let me break it down for you really quick. A secure credit card looks and acts just like a regular credit card, but the only difference is you have to put an initial security deposit, and that initial security deposit then becomes your credit limit amount. For example, if you put an initial security deposit of $300, then that $300, your $300, then becomes your credit limit amount. Then you can use this secure credit card to start making purchases so that way you can start building your credit. And the way you build credit with this secure credit card is you would use it and then make payments on it every month. Every time you make on-time payments on it every month, it gets reported to the three major credit bureaus, which are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. You would make payments on it for about 6 to 7 months, and then your account's going to be reviewed to see if you're eligible to graduate to something called a unsecured credit card. And 9 times out of 10, Navy Federal is going to graduate you to the Cash Rewards unsecured credit card. card. And they might even give you a credit limit increase as well, along with your initial security deposit back. But that is one way you can start building credit with Navy Federal. The other way is to get something called a pledge loan, aka a secured savings loan. This is pretty much a secured personal loan that is secured by your deposit. Pledge loans help you build a great credit mix to your overall credit profile because it reports as an installment loan. So this is going to boost your personal credit, and it's also going to boost your internal score with Navy Federal as well. And I'm not going to dive in on too much on what this is in this video because I already made a video on this not too long ago. But if you guys want the full in-depth video on what a pledge loan is and the hack that everybody does with this pledge loan, then feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. But if you guys already have a strong credit profile, then you don't really need a good relationship with Navy Federal. Although I will say having a relationship with Navy Federal and a strong credit profile at the same time will definitely boost your chances on getting even more favorable limits and rates. A lot of people always ask me, if I'm a new member with Navy Federal, when is the best time to apply for a credit card with them, or even an auto loan, or even a mortgage loan with them? Look guys, if you guys have good credit, then you can apply for any of those things immediately. But if you don't have good credit, then I would definitely hold off on applying for some of these things. And this is where building a relationship with them comes into play. So if you don't have good credit, then I would establish a relationship with Navy Federal for at least about 3 months. Then after those 3 months, once some kind of relationship is already built with Navy Federal, I would personally then start applying for things. But another thing you're going to want to know as a new member with Navy Federal Credit Union is something called the 91-3 rule. So if you guys would like to request a credit limit increase on one of your Navy Federal credit cards, then you have to do something called the 91-3 rule. The 91-3 rule pretty much is you have to wait 91 days and or 3 full billing cycles before you decide to ask for a credit limit increase. And those 91 days are going to start from the first day that you got approved for that credit card. And also for new members out there that don't know, the maximum limit you can have on each of your Navy Federal credit cards is going to be a $50,000 credit limit. All of them with the exception of the flagship rewards credit card. The maximum limit on that credit card is going to be $80K. But across all of your Navy Federal credit cards, the maximum credit limit is also going to be $80K. So if you have 3 credit cards with Navy Federal and you have a $25,000 limit on, let's say, the Platinum card, you have a $25,000 limit on, let's say, the More Rewards credit card, and you have a $30,000 limit on, let's say, the Flagship Rewards credit card, then that is going to be your total limit. That is going to be the limit you are maxed out at, $80,000. And since we're already talking about Navy Federal credit cards, then there's a trifecta setup that I highly recommend that you guys get. The trifecta setup is going to consist of the Platinum credit card, the More Rewards credit card, and the Flagship Rewards credit card. These are the absolute best personal credit cards that you can get with Navy Federal, hands down. And if I didn't mention it already, you're only allowed up to 3 personal unsecured credit cards with Navy Federal. And again, these credit cards that I just mentioned are going to be the best personal unsecured credit cards with Navy Federal. You're going to want to aim for these 3 credit cards. The Flagship Rewards credit card is a travel credit card that offers very enticing perks and welcome bonuses. And the More Rewards credit card is going to offer you 3 reward points on just so many categories. And the Platinum credit card is a very good low interest rate balance transfer credit card. And I won't be going over all the perks and bonuses in this video because I don't want to make this video too long. So if you guys want the full in-depth video, then feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. I made a full in-depth video in regards to the trifecta setup that Navy Federal has. So again, feel free to browse my channel or hit the link in the description below. And also, if you guys are finding any of this information helpful, if you guys can do me a favor, hit the like button. I would truly appreciate it because it really helps me out a lot. But another thing you're going to want to know as a new member with Navy Federal is if you're applying for an auto loan with Navy Federal, which I'm sure most of you are going to do, 9 times out of 10, they won't be doing any income verification. Just make sure you have a decent credit score, make sure you have that income coming in, and get that relationship with Navy Fed. I personally have an auto loan with Navy Federal, and so do a lot of my friends and family as well. When they got their auto loans with Navy Federal, it was a really fast and easy process. Honestly, it's probably one of the most easiest and fastest ways to get an auto loan here in America. And if you guys have any more questions in regards to this, then I also made a full in-depth video explaining how to finance or refinance an auto loan with Navy Federal, so feel free to browse my channel or hit the link in the description below. Now, there's definitely a lot to know about Navy Federal Credit Union, so honestly, I would just consider subscribing if you made it this far into the video already. But I will go over one more thing that you should know as a new member with Navy Federal. So Navy Federal has a mortgage loan out there to where if you're trying to buy a home, you don't have to put any money down. And this mortgage loan is going to be known as the Homebuyer's Choice Loan. The Homebuyer's Choice Loan is a mortgage loan that Navy Federal offers that requires no money down when trying to buy a home and no PMI as well, no private mortgage insurance. Because usually whenever you get a conventional loan for more than 80%, then you're going to have to pay something called PMI, private mortgage insurance. And what private mortgage insurance does is it protects the lender just in case you default on the loan. But once you reach 20% 10% equity in your home, then you're allowed to take off private mortgage insurance. So this can save you a few $100s every month. But by Navy Federal not having this in the beginning to even begin with is just awesome and so insane. So no money down, no private mortgage insurance, and Navy Federal is allowing up to 6% in seller concessions. And you can use these seller concessions to pay for your closing costs. Whenever you buy a home, closing costs are usually going to be about 3% of the purchase price. So you can literally hypothetically get into a home without putting any money down, pay no PMI, no private mortgage insurance, and then paying no closing costs as well. The only catch is though, is that it's only going to be for a single family residence. This mortgage loan, the Homebuyer's Choice loan, is not available for a multi-family residence. Now I also made a video on this not too long ago, so I'm not going to go full in depth on how this works and what this is, but you guys are more than welcome to browse my channel or hit the link in the description below. But these are pretty much the main things that you're going to want to know as a new member with Navy Federal Credit Union. So if you're a new member, feel free to play this video back or even share it with your family or friends that are also new members so that way they know what's up. And also, if you're a new member with Navy Federal, what plans do you have with them? Let us know in the comments below. I would like to know. But again, if you guys made it to the end of the video, then I truly do appreciate you guys. We are at 23,522 subscribers at the time of this recording, so I do appreciate all who watch. I do post weekly videos for those that don't know, and if you haven't yet already, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you guys get notified every time I post a new video. And again, we talk about personal and business credit, real estate, and other financial related topics, so if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. We talk about how to get high limits on your guys' credit cards. We talk about how to boost your personal credit, how to obtain business credit. We talk about real estate. We talk about mortgage loan products. So this is your one-stop shop. And for those that don't know, I'm a licensed real estate agent, a realtor, and I'm also a licensed mortgage loan originator. So if you guys have any questions or concerns in regards to real estate, all my information is in the description below. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.